Are come get your baggage chain. You ate this. Come get your Pulitzer Prize. Someone who's always been really annoyed about the idea of gender wars and having this conversation like, oh, gender wars online, right? And the fact that the bickering back and forth between the sexes kind of makes it this idea like it's all just petty conversation, right? When gender wars on the half of women and what they inflict on men is just women doing things like what Jen said when Jen's like, men are annoying and I'm sick of it, right? Like that is the extent to which women participate in gender wars, is that they complain about the behavior of men, is that they talk shit about men in general. And men equate that shit talking as like suffering for them. Like that's suffering that they have to endure. Like it's not fair that women generalize about men. It's not fair that women all men when not all of us are like that. And it's so annoying and it's so unfair. On the women's side, before we even get to the very real threat of physical violence, before we even get to domestic abuse and to femicide, on the lower levels of it, what women are dealing with is manipulation, gaslighting, coercion. We are talking about triangulation. You are describing as gender wars is men being upset that women complain about their behavior versus women dealing with literal psychological warfare. The article does a really good job summing up how the season of Love Island really put that on display. The article doesn't hold back and it calls all the boys out by name and gives examples. An article that I think the girls from the island should definitely read before they continue to defend these men. Casey's constant need to bring up the fact that he wasn't chosen by any of the women islanders in the first challenge as justification for his future philandering mirrors classic incel victim logic. Jack's habit of withholding affection from his partner Kato when he was annoyed, like refusing kisses or threatening to not cook her breakfast as some form of punishment, felt like textbook emotional manipulation. Even when the contestants were speaking about people they supposedly wanted to be with, the red flags couldn't be ignored. Sincere spent the finale praising Melanie for being so patient and resilient, celebrating his partner's willingness to repeatedly forgive his transgressions. And Casey explaining his reasoning for wanting to make Tiara his girlfriend, noting how she had literally shown me that she's worthy to be my girl. You all tried to make it seem like we were being dramatic when we were calling out the boys' behavior and being like, hey, this is insane red pill incel shit. Like, this is crazy. Like, they're all raging misogynists. This is really insane. And you all tried to make it seem like we were all being so dramatic. And here come the professionals being like, no, that's exactly what that is. That's misogyny on full display. That's exactly what happened all season long. The men's insistence that they were victims of a double standard when the women chastised them for how they explored, namely the things they said behind their partners' backs, revealed a fundamental misunderstanding about the gravity of their actions. For many of the men, being given free rein to test their chemistry with new women wasn't enough. They had to disparage the women they were previously coupled with to justify their actions. Directly or indirectly, many of today's young men have been shaped by an increasingly pervasive anti-feminist philosophy that paints them as both the prize and the victim. Women should constantly be trying to earn men's love, and if not, they're blocking them from reaching their full alpha potential. And to establish their position at the top of the food chain, men are encouraged to follow a set of guidelines, almost of which involve the mistreatment and the disrespect of women. Love the girls on the island to get an opportunity to really rewatch the tapes, not just rewatch the show, but also be able to sit with the show and look at it from a stance of like removing your personal feelings and how you feel about this person and whether you like him and you have feelings for him or not, and just really look at the behavior and understand how dangerous all the behavior that all of the men this season displayed truly is. Most of these women are in fact in danger in the relationships that they are currently in. In the article, kind of glazing Bryce as the winner and him and Trinity's connection and calling Bryce kind of this outlier in this group of like terrible men. And like I've said all season long, I think you guys give Bryce way too much credit. Like I think that Bryce just stands out because these other men and their behavior is so disgusting and so horrible that it makes Bryce look like an angel. But to me personally, I am of the belief that if there are 10 men in the room doing bad things and number 11 stays quiet, guess what? Number 11 is also a bad guy. Being complicit in bad behavior also makes you a bad person, and more often than not throughout the season, Bryce was very silent while a shit ton of bad behavior was happening, and very rarely did he clear his throat to defend any of the women, including his partner. But I guess let's give him the flowers because he wasn't as horrible as the rest of the men. He was Courage the Cowardly Dog. Sure, but I'll let him have it. It's fine. Anyways, the point is, for anyone who's been defending the men of this season of Love Island and being like, their behavior was not that big of a deal, the professionals are telling you, like, yes, it was. Their behavior was horrendous.